In a remote and sacred corner of Africa, nestled between towering ochre cliffs and shadowed forests, lay the village of Nkara. Surrounded by mystery and protected by unwritten rules, Nkara was a place where stories were passed through firelight and the dead were never truly silent. The villagers believed their land was alive, breathing through the wind, whispering through rivers, and watching through the eyes of the mountains. And beneath the surface, something ancient stirred, something forgotten, yet hungry. In Africa's Nkara, 3 rules had governed generations: never dig beneath the altar stone, never speak the name Tira, and above all, never light a fire near the cliffs after dusk. The elders did not explain why. They simply said that some flames could not be tamed, and some names opened doors that should remain sealed. The villagers obeyed without question. But rules built on fear are bound to crack, and it began with a girl named Lina. Lina was born under a dark sky during a year when the rains betrayed the land and famine claimed the weak. Her birth marked the beginning of strange winds, animals fleeing the woods, and children speaking in dreams. Her eyes, the color of obsidian, saw what others could not. Her hands, warm even in the coldest season, hummed with unseen energy. In Africa's Nkara, many called her gifted. Others called her dangerous. Lina simply called herself curious. When Lina was just 2 years old, her mother disappeared without a trace. No blood. No body. Only a single palm-shaped scorch mark on the clay wall of their home remained. The villagers whispered of curses. The elders insisted on silence. But her grandmother, Mama Nyali, believed otherwise. She said the earth had swallowed her daughter not out of anger, but out of need. Your mother heard something in the cliffs, she told Lina. And one day, so will you. It was harvest season when the sky turned copper and the winds became still. The altar stone in the center of Nkara, untouched for 100 years, split open with a thunderous crack. From within rose a golden fire, not hot but glowing, fluid like memory. Villagers screamed. Drums fell silent. But Lina stood motionless, drawn to it. In the burning light, she saw not danger, but a doorway waiting to be opened. Lina walked barefoot into the glow, stepping where no one dared. The fire wrapped around her, curled over her shoulders, and kissed her skin, but did not burn. It bowed, as if recognizing her. The villagers watched in horror. But Mama Nyali smiled. She has returned, she whispered to herself. The child of fire has remembered. That night, as Lina slept, something strange happened. At dawn, she awoke to find a ceremonial fire dancer's mask placed beside her pillow, made of bone, ashwood, and red thread. No one in the village claimed it. No one admitted entering her hut. But Lina felt the mask hum with warmth. She placed it on her face, and the world around her shifted. The air felt older. And the ancestors stirred. With the mask still beside her, Lina dreamed of a city buried in ash. She walked barefoot through its silent ruins, passing women with no mouths and children made of smoke. A woman with flaming hair stood before her and said, "The fire was never the danger. It was the warning." Lina reached for her, but awoke in tears, her hands glowing red, and the sound of distant drums filling her ears. The next morning, Mama Nyali led Lina to the edge of the forbidden cliffs. The air was heavy with silence. "There is a door beneath this land," she said. "Your mother tried to open it. She heard the whispers in the stone. That's why she vanished. You are her daughter. You must decide, will you finish what she began?" Lina said nothing. But in her heart, the answer burned. Lina returned to the cliffs at night, wearing the mask. The crack in the altar still glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. She slipped through it and descended into the earth, into a passageway carved from ancient stone and root. The deeper she went, the louder the hum became. It wasn't frightening, it was welcoming, like a mother singing to a lost child. At the bottom of the passage, Lina found it, a temple buried in the womb of Africa, untouched by time. The walls were covered in fire symbols and the names of women scratched in forgotten tongues. Vines wrapped around a central stone drum, and nearby, a necklace hung on a spear of flame. Her mother's necklace. She was home. Lina knelt before the stone drum. When her fingers touched it, warmth surged into her chest. It wasn't music, it was memory. Her mother's laughter. Her cries. Her final breath. She beat the drum once, and the temple responded. Fire danced along the walls. Shadows became faces. And the silence of generations cracked open like dry wood. From the walls and floor rose figures, translucent, glowing, weeping. Dozens of women, the mothers, daughters, and sisters of Nkara, erased from history by fear. Among them was Tira, the name never spoken, and Lina's mother, her eyes full of light. "You heard us," she whispered. "At last, you've heard us." Her mother spoke of betrayal. The curse was never fire, it was forgetting. The elders feared powerful women. They called their gifts curses and cast them into the earth. Each woman had been sacrificed to protect tradition. But their spirits remained, waiting for a daughter brave enough to listen. And now, that daughter had come. Lina stood at the center of the temple, surrounded by spirits and flame. She had a choice: destroy the drum and silence the voices forever, or carve their names into the stone and let their memory rise. She chose the latter. Her hands worked through the night, etching each name, each story, into the walls. With every name, the fire glowed brighter. Once the names were carved, Lina gathered dried herbs, oils, and her own hair and wrapped them around the vines that bound the drum. She lit them. As the fire spread, the temple walls pulsed. The spirits began to ascend, not in pain, but in peace. Her mother kissed her forehead and vanished into light. The earth hummed in satisfaction. In Nkara, the villagers awoke to find the cliffs glowing and the altar stone gone. The crack had sealed. The sky was clear. Birds returned. And in the square stood Lina, holding the now cold drum and wearing the mask. She said only one sentence: "The fire has been fed. The silence is over."
When the elders gathered, Lina told them everything. She did not accuse. She did not rage. She simply told the truth. Of the women erased. Of the power feared. Of the history buried. Some wept. Others walked away in shame. But none denied her. The truth, once spoken, cannot be silenced. Mama Nyali, proud and teary, held Lina's face. "You did what I never could," she said. "You brought them home." That night, Mama Nyali passed in her sleep, a smile on her face, her spirit already dancing among the stars. The river that had dried a decade ago began to flow once more. Clear, vibrant, alive. The villagers bathed in it, sang to it, thanked it. They knew the land had been holding its breath, and now, at last, it could exhale. To honor the return of the spirits, the villagers began a new tradition. Each year, under the red moon, girls wear flame masks and dance by the cliffs. They chant the names of the lost, beat the sacred drum, and tell the story of Lina, the girl who fed the fire with memory. No girl in Nkara was ever again called cursed. Those born with strange dreams, with burning palms, with eyes that saw beyond, were honored. They were taught the ancient songs, the lost rhythms. And they were never silenced. Lina placed the ceremonial mask on the tallest post in the village square. It faced the cliffs. It faced the dawn. Beneath it, she carved, "We were never witches. We were warnings. And we remember." Travelers came from far to read the words. Some stayed. Lina never left Nkara. She stayed, teaching the children, beating the drum, and whispering stories into the earth. She became legend, not for her magic, but for her memory. And the flame that once cursed the village became its light. And so they say, deep beneath Nkara, in the temple Lina awakened, the fire still flickers. Not to destroy, but to remind. That truth buried too long becomes flame. And memory. Memory is what keeps the ancestors alive.